Greetings. Welcome to Floral Design. My name is Diana Ryan, and today I'm going to design a hand-tied bridal bouquet for you. It's not a difficult design, but it does take practice. So I suspect the first time you try it, it may not turn out exactly the way you want it, which is the purpose of this video. You can watch it over and over and over until you're comfortable with your design and it's the way you want it to be. All right, let's get started. The flowers I selected today are pretty much in season year-round. So if you want to duplicate this bouquet, it doesn't matter when you view it, you should be able to get these flowers. I've got a hydrangea here, very popular with brides, and hydrangea is wonderful in a hand-tied bouquet. It adds for a great backdrop to some of the flowers. Also, Asiatic lilies. One thing you want to keep in mind with Asiatic lilies is you need to remove these stamens because they will stain the flowers and they will stain you. Right now they're at the immature stage, which is great because we want this flower to be perfect. So once you've selected your flowers, you need to strip all of the foliage. The foliage doesn't do any good in a hand-tied bouquet. It doesn't help us. In fact, it hinders us. So you strip all the foliage off. All right, now let's start with the hydrangea. It will be in the center of our bouquet. I'm also going to put my Asiatic lily towards the middle because they bruise very easily, and it's a nice bigger flower. It's a trumpet shape. I'm just kind of nestling it in there within the hydrangea. If these were placed on the outside, for sure they'd get banged up and bruised. I mean, one little touch and there's a crease in the flower, and we want this to be a perfect bouquet. So my next lily I'm going to place again towards the center. So it's going to look like this, and it will be surrounded by other flowers. There are buds here. I'm going to leave them for now. After I get done, I'll decide if I want to keep them or take them out. So I'm going to build this with all my different colors right from the beginning. Same thing with the stalk. Stalk is beautiful because it's got all these blossoms on this stem, which makes for a nice design in this bouquet. And next thing I want to do is add some ahlstrom. It's got a great bloom to it, lasts a long time, and again I'm going to kind of weave it into my hydrangea, so I've spread this red-violet color in here. You're going to notice I'm doing an analogous color harmony with this bouquet, kind of the purples and the red-violets. Okay, now let's add a punch of this purple. This is carnation. This actually was not available 5-10 years ago, but the breeders bred a purple carnation. I just love it. Now, sometimes carnations get a bad rap because people think of them as an ordinary flower. I'm a big fan. I love carnations. They come in different colors, every color almost of the rainbow. They're sturdy. They're fragrant. They fill in nicely, so I'm a fan. All right, let's take another ahlstrom. I want to kind of spread this red-violet color around here. So I'm placing the bouquet, the stems for this bouquet, kind of to the side. And let's, again, weave it in here. So I'm going to be seeing the hydrangea kind of poking its little head out all around. Now I want to add a little bit of wax flower. It's a great little filler, and it's going to tie in the same colors. The nice part about wax flower is the stems are very bendy. So I can bend my stems in this with the wax flower, and it's not going to hurt it. That's not true with most flowers. So it gives us a little bit of flexibility, and it's going to add a great texture. So I'm going to place it in there, and again, I can weave it in where I want it. I want a little bit more right up in there. I love that touch of it. Wax flower is available year-round. Probably the best time of year is in the springtime to get it. The blossoms are a little fuller, but you can certainly get it year-round. That just adds a wonderful texture, I think. And see, I am bending these stems, and it's not hurting them at all. Okay, let's keep adding. Let's add a little bit more stalk. And when I place these stems, I am going to be angling them. If I keep the stems upright, I'm going to have a torch when I'm done, and that's not what we want. Our goal here is to get a rounded bouquet. So it's not necessarily a ball like the pomander, but it is rounded. So it looks full, and it's got a nice round shape to it. So I'm going to place one stalk there. And you know what? Sometimes you're lucky and you get a curve to the stem. So let's add that as well over and through here. You can see my color now is starting to get, and they get a little slippery. I'm not going to kid you on that. So you got to kind of hang on to them. Now, the tips of the stalk, not sure if I want to keep it yet. I'm going to keep it right here because it's not exactly round like I want it, but I'm going to wait till I'm done to kind of give it a final look on that. The Star Bethlehem is a great little flower. This is very unusual. I love the look of it. I love the green at the tip. This lime green color is beautiful in bouquets. It's the color of new growth. So it adds a freshness to bouquets. So even though this stem is bent, you know what? It's going to work to our advantage. So I'm going to place it right in there. And it's one of those flowers people will look at and they'll go, what is that? And we like that. We want people to think our designs are very unique and different. And I switch hands from time to time, depending on how I want to hold it. So let's put another Star Bethlehem over there. Let's give it a look. I think it needs a little ahlstrom area over on this side. And it's starting to fill out right in through here. Okay, what else do we need? How about a little more wax? Again, I want to weave that. And you know what? Even these little buds are great because they look like they're fresh. They look like they're new. We want our bouquets to look like they're the freshest flowers possible. I'm kind of liking that. Let's give her a twirl. Okay, let's keep adding. I've got another stalk I want to add. I just love this purple combination. So again, and you know what? The stalk helps us on the sides of the bouquet because it's still got blooms coming down. Maybe a little more of this royal purple. I think I'll weave it in here. When you get to this point, you can actually come down in front and just kind of poke it through. Hence another reason you don't want any foliage. That would be difficult. So I can put it right where I want it, right in through there. Now, if you feel like your flowers are slipping a little bit, I think this lily slipped down a little bit, I can pull it up very carefully to where I want it. Again, I don't want to even touch those petals at all, and I'm going to pull this one up ever so slightly. Yeah, that's more the shape I want. See, my hydrangea is still poking through there. So what other color? Let's try a little, maybe, I'm a fan of these too. So let's get more of this purple in here. I want to spread it out evenly. Let's put it over here to the side. It just gives a nice richness to the bouquet. A little bit more wax. Because I want it to be even, I need some on this side. You can see there's not a lot of wax. It's kind of over there. And I can peel off little pieces if I want. So let's place it right in here. And again, I'm going to weave it in through the hydrangea. Maybe I don't want it poking up that much. And if I want this blossom over here, I can move it over there again because, like I said before, these wax stems are nice and flexible for us. Now that's spreading the wax flower a little bit more even. That's a little bit more what I'm looking for. Maybe a little touch over here. I just love that. And maybe we'll grab another one. Give her a look. How about right over here? This is probably not going to show, so I'm just going to peel that off. Now, I really love this celery ivory green color. Here's another carnation that is that color. So this is going to kind of bring the look of the hydrangea through the bouquet in a spot because I'm getting a little dark. You can see over here. So my stems are getting a little long. I want to kind of add that to it. That will tie the colors in nicely. And like I said, carnations are wonderful. They also look nice as far as the roundedness of my bouquet. So I'm liking that. Let's push this down a little bit. Don't want to hide too much. I'm going to give her a twirl. See if it's the shape I want. Now let's go back to my buds. I think I'll leave these buds on the lilies. I like them there because you know what? They're not really out of line because I have some buds of the wax flowers showing here. We don't want the bouquet to be perfectly round. The idea is it looks like you went into the field, gathered flowers, made a bouquet, and then the bride walks down the aisle. So I like a little bit more loose, a little bit more natural look to it. Okay, let's revisit this stalk. I'm going to pull it up a little bit. I don't think I want this bud in here, so I'm going to pop that off. And we can certainly use this in something else because it's kind of fun. I think I'm going to take off this blossom too. These work beautiful in corsage work. Now I've got more of that rounded feel. Yeah, I just don't want that one. How about this guy? Well, I'm going to pick off a little bit. Doesn't bother me too much. Okay, let's give her a twirl. This is the shape I want. I want this rounded. So let's see if we did that. Kind of twirl it around. You know, even though these are up high and this is here, I think I need a little something right in there to kind of balance out these buds. So I think my Star of Bethlehem. Okay, so let's put the Star of Bethlehem in there, and you're thinking, now how am I going to get that in here? The bouquet's already nice and tight. Once again, I can go right through the middle. I give it a little twist so it can find its way through, and because there are no leaves on this stem, that's pretty easy. What I'm aiming for here is to balance out those buds right there. I may need to turn this a little bit. Yeah. I think I'm liking that better. That just kind of, it gives my rounded feel because I don't want one side to be lopsided and fall short. So I'm pretty happy with this. Give it a twirl. You don't want to let go. That's for sure. I may put another, you know what, on this side, I really like the flowers that are coming down here. On this side, it's a little bit not as full, so I'm going to add my carnation. The carnation stems are more flexible than most, so that definitely helps us. You know what? You can never have too much purple. Let's add a little purple in there. Yeah. Okay, so let's give this a twirl again. I may do a few minor adjustments here to give it the way I want it. I think I'm liking this. Okay, now we've held on to all of this, so now I've got to tie it all together, hence the name hand-tied. I like to use floral tape. I've worked with it for many years, and I'm just real comfortable with it. There are other materials you can use, wax string. Some people like that. But floral tape is a little bit stretchy, and it adheres to itself. So I'm going to hold it here with my thumb, and then I'm just going to wrap around like this. Gonna go, and I'm still hanging on. I don't want to let go, so it's just a wrapping movement. Want to hold all these stems in place. Let's see how that's doing. Okay, that's holding pretty good. My bouquet is looking pretty good. Now I want to finish, on the back side of my bouquet, you see the stems and the flower heads. So I just want to finish it a little bit with some tips of salal. It's a little thing, but in this industry, the details are huge. So let's put some salal leaves there just to kind of finish this off. I'm going to place them around. That's probably out of place. And the nice thing about salal, it holds up very well. Even if these stems are not in water, they're going to hold up, and I'm not going to have to worry about them wilting. So I've got the tips, but you know what? I probably need to trim off a couple of leaves just because they're not where I want them. And I'm going to go all the way around with the tips. And you know what? I kind of like seeing a few leaves poke through. Again, it makes it look more natural. Now let's tape this. Okay. I'm going to go down a little bit further just to make sure my bouquet is going to tie in place. Now, am I hurting the flowers? Not really. They're okay. They're flexible enough to where they don't mind a little bit of a bend to them. Okay, now we've got these long stems that we need to cut off because obviously the bride's not going to carry this big thing down here. So I'm going to cut them off with my clippers. I'm trying to keep the stems all the same length because it's going to go in my vase here. Okay, so those are about the same length. Let's clip off this little piece of wax flower. We don't need those leaves. And I've got a little bit of a woody stem here with the wax, so let's clip off that part because it's going to be in my way. Come here, you. There. Okay, let's readhere that tape. Okay, so this is about the length of the bouquet that the bride's going to carry. Now, obviously, we have to finish this stem. She doesn't want to walk down there with tape and stem showing. So we're going to get our ribbon, and we're going to wrap in that. I chose white. Most of the bride's dresses are white or ivory. I prefer to wrap the stem in the color of the dress. If it were a bridesmaid's dress and she had this deep purple color, I'd wrap the stem in deep purple. That way the color of the holder kind of blends in with the dress and the flowers show up better. So I'm starting here with my ribbon, and I'm going to hold it with one hand, wrap with the other. Once you get going, it's not going to undo for you. So we're going to go all the way down the stem. It's just a nice, clean finish to cover up all our mechanics. So just wrapping down the stem. And, you know, it gives something for the bride to hang on to. She's probably a little nervous that day. So we're going to keep going around. Now, how far down do I want to go? You know, she may want to hold it with two hands, so I'm kind of going about 2 fists down. This is probably about right. So let's cut this. And then I'm going to turn under the raw edge, fold it. You know, once again, it's a detail. Make sure that's tight. Then I'm going to pin it in place. Down here below, we can just pin it up right towards the stems, and they stay wonderful. Don't have to worry about it at all. So this is our finished stem. And our rounded hand tied. Has a natural feel to it, but then it's still got our nice round shape. Then I always like to send my bride's bouquets in a vase. That way the flowers can still be drinking water. They're not going to wilt. And when the bride's not taking pictures or doing other things, they can place the bouquet back in the vase so it stays fresh. And I've got just enough water in there to cover up the stems, but it's not going to get my ribbon wet. This way it's upright, it's not going to get bounced around, it's not going to get bruised, it's going to stay beautiful for that very special day. All right, thanks for joining me.